On a scorching afternoon, a passerby spotted a battered mother dog, shielding her newborns from a raging wildfire, and against all odds he dashed in to save them. But the real shock was yet to come. What secret lay behind this daring rescue, and how did it spark a fight that changed lives forever? Bella, a gentle golden retriever with fur the color of sunlit wheat, had just given birth to 5 tiny, trembling pups in a soft nest beneath an ancient oak, whose gnarled roots formed a natural cradle, each pup's soft sigh a promise of warmth and safety. When fate intervened with cruel urgency, stray ember from a careless camper's dwindling fire drifted on a whisper of smoke through the dry underbrush, and ignited the forest floor in a sudden flash of blazing heat, turning the tranquil haven into a roaring inferno that swallowed the trees and filled the air with choking ash. Bella's heart thundered in her chest as she inhaled the acrid air, her instincts urging her to shield her babies at all costs, and despite the searing pain in her paws, she bolted through the blaze, cradling her first pup gently in her mouth, and laying it tenderly in the hollow of a fallen log, where she quickly deposited a second, a third and a fourth, each tiny body quivering with fear yet safe from the flames for the moment, before racing back through the inferno for her final baby, her lungs burning, her vision blurred by swirling smoke, each step a testament to a mother's fierce devotion. Yet when a burning branch crashed across her path like a barrier of cruel fate, Bella refused to surrender, summoning every ounce of courage left in her battered body, to dart under the smoldering wood, snatch her smallest pup close against her chest, and dart back through the corridor of heat, her golden coat singed, her paws raw, every muscle screaming with exhaustion, until finally she reached the shelter of the log, where her 4 pups lay huddled in fear. Just as Bella's strength gave way and she collapsed, her vision dimming, her muzzle resting on the soft earth, her mournful howl, a song of desperation and love cut through the roar of the fire, and in that desperate moment firefighter Emily, on one of her last sweeps through the burning woods, heard the cry and plunged into the heart of danger. Through smoke so thick it felt like walls of grief, she spotted Bella's form curled protectively around her trembling litter, a living emblem of sacrifice, and without hesitation Emily wrapped the entire family in her soot-stained coat, pulling them close against her chest as the forest around them groaned and cracked, only to be trapped by a falling tree that blocked her path. But with the arrival of Scout, a brave rescue dog, whose sleek black form moved like a shadow through the flames, the firefighting crew rallied, heaving away scorched logs, clearing a narrow corridor to safety, and at last carried Bella and her pups to the edge of the blaze, where an ambulance waited, its lights painting the smoke in strokes of blue and red. And in that moment of triumph and relief, Bella's wounded body trembled not from fear but from the knowledge that her babies would live. In the aftermath, the Annual Hospital became a quiet haven of healing where kind hands washed away soot and soothed burned limbs, where Harper's gentle voice and skilled touch brought Bella back from the brink, and where strangers sent donations and prayers that wove into a blanket of hope around the recovering family. But amid this outpouring of compassion, one man emerged with a stern claim of ownership that threatened to cast Bella back into a past of neglect, where storms raged and hunger gnawed at her bones, and Emily, haunted by neighbors' whispered recollections of Bella cowering alone in the rain, knew she could not let Bella's sacrifice be undone. Driven by love and the memory of Bella's courage, Emily enlisted Rachel, a pro bono attorney, whose voice trembled with conviction, as she gathered witness statements from tearful neighbors, from children who wept at Bella's suffering, and from volunteers who had watched Emily's unwavering devotion. And together they built a case so rife with truth, that every piece of evidence from photographs of Bella's matted coat, to medical reports of her injuries, spoke louder than any claim of ownership. On the day of the hearing, the courtroom, cold and somber, was filled instead with warmth, as stories of Bella's heroism and her bond with Emily poured out in heartfelt testimony. And when the judge finally declared that Bella belonged with those who loved her, an eruption of quiet joy swept through the room. Emily's tears of relief mingling with Bella's gentle nuzzle as mother and rescuer pledged to walk forward together. Bella's recovery was a journey of small miracles. Her burned legs, tenderly wrapped in bandages, grew stronger each day as Emily guided her through gentle therapy. The tiniest puppy, whose timid eyes had watched the fire with wide wonder, found courage in Emily's laughter and grew into a playful companion, whose antics coaxed smile after smile. And one by one, Bella's other pups left for their new families in carefully timed farewells that balanced a mother's grief with the joy of knowing her babies would be loved, until only Scout remained beside Bella, and Emily, her heart decided that no one should ever face darkness alone, so she brought both mother and daughter into her home forever, in the soft light of a dawn unscarred by smoke. Bella, her coat still bearing faint scars, felt the gentle breeze on her face as she explored her new backyard, her steps light with gratitude while Scout bounded at her side, her small body brimming with life, and as Emily watched them, tears of tenderness glimmered in her eyes because she knew their story, woven through fire, compassion, and healing was not theirs alone, but a spark of hope that could ignite change. And so Emily founded Bella's Brigade, a community program that offers workshops on rescue, adoption events, where injured survivors meet, loving families, and support networks for those who refuse to let past trauma define a life. And Bella and Scout, living symbols of resilience, stand paw in hand with Emily, their journey a beacon showing that even when the world is consumed by flame and injustice, a single act of courage and kindness can light the way out of darkness. Legal storm clouds. At the animal hospital, Bella lies on a pristine padded bed beneath the soft glow of bedside lamps, surrounded by the gentle hum of monitors and the reassuring presence of Dr. Harper, whose patient voice greets her each morning. "You're safe, beautiful girl." The scent of antiseptic mingles with the warmth of fresh blankets, as nurses slip quietly in and out, charting every flicker of Bella's breathing and the slight movements of her healing legs. Outside, word of Bella's daring rescue ripples through social media posts, local news bulletins, and whispered prayer circles, inspiring kind strangers to deliver soft toys, nutrient-rich meals for the puppies, and generous donations to cover the growing medical bills. Yet amid this growing symphony of compassion strides Mark, whose arrival is as sudden as it is chilling. His polished shoes click on the tile floor, a stack of legal documents in hand, his eyes fixed on Bella with the cold confidence of ownership, as he claims her as his property. And Emily, recalling neighbors' tearful accounts of Bella left shivering on a rainy porch and whimpering in hunger under a hedgerow, feels her heart tighten at the thought of Bella slipping from hope back into neglect, the memory of the dog's trusting gaze fueling her determination to protect her at all costs. A community rises undaunted by the threat to Bella's sanctuary. Emily reaches out to Rachel, a passionate pro bono attorney, whose eyes shine with empathy when she hears Bella's story. Her first visit to the hospital is filled with soft-spoken strategies, as they pore over witness affidavits, nearly a dozen statements from gentle neighbors, who recall Emily bringing Bella warm food and dry blankets, from volunteers who washed away fear along with soot, and from children who knelt to pet Bella's matted fur with tender words of comfort. Together they curate photographs of Bella's progress, images of the dog tentatively wagging her tail at Emily's arrival, of therapy sessions coaxing her to stand again, and of the puppies now healthy enough to tumble and play around her bandaged paws. These visuals become the centerpiece of a community campaign that sprawls across town. Chalk-drawn paw prints lead to a courthouse rally. A picnic fundraiser welcomes families beneath a banner reading "Justice for Bella," and social media posts, tagged "John Beloved Bella," unite supporters in a digital chorus of hope. Backyard bake sales spring up at every corner, from bakers to business owners, donating treats and time to raise money for legal fees and ongoing care, while local artists paint heartwarming murals on school walls, reminding children that compassion can conquer cruelty. Courtroom victory. At last, the day of the hearing dawns bright as sunlight filters through courtroom windows, reflecting on polished wood floors that now feel warm with purpose. Emily enters the courtroom with Bella curled calmly at her side, Scout by her feet, and friends lining the benches, neighbors volunteer, and even the young artists whose murals fought for Bella's future. Rachel stands poised at the podium, her voice unwavering as she lays out evidence. Medical charts from Harper documenting Bella's miraculous recovery, photos capturing the dog's slow but certain journey to healing, and rescuer testimonies recounting the moment Bella's howl cut through the flames and called Emily to her side. Under the weight of such undeniable truth, Mark's claim unravels, his words faltering against the chorus of compassion, and when the judge's gavel falls, affirming that Bella belongs in a home filled with love, a collective exhale sweeps through the room as tears of joy glisten on cheeks. Emily collapses to her knees beside Bella, cradling her head and whispering, "You're mine now forever," while Bella nuzzles Emily's hand with trust restored. In the days following, Emily often rises before dawn to check on Bella, planning hydrotherapy sessions to strengthen her legs, booking gentle obedience classes to rebuild her confidence, and arranging a small adoption picnic beneath the oak where her puppies were born. Inviting every volunteer and neighbor who fought for her, she pins the community's handwritten letters to her kitchen wall as reminders of compassion's power. Local news outlets continue sharing updates on Bella's healing, and at sunset Emily leads Bella and Scout through the quiet streets warmed by lamplight, each step affirming that a single act of kindness can ignite a movement brighter than any flame. And as Emily watches Bella's breath slow into sleep each night, she knows their bond, forged in fire, will guide them into a future where rescue and redemption walk paw in hand. Recovery and adoption. Bella's journey through pain and healing began with a delicate surgery on her burned legs, where Dr. Harper's gentle hands stitched wounds and soothed her trembling body through long hours of careful care. And in the hushed quiet of the animal hospital room, Emily sat by her side, her hand resting on Bella's head, as each soft breath brought hope. Scout, the shyest puppy, lay nestled close to Emily's knee, discovering new courage with every gentle word and reassuring touch, and together they formed a quiet circle of healing, where fear gave way to trust. As Bella's strength returned, the first of her pups departed into the arms of the Johnson family, who named her Daisy and welcomed her into a cozy home with sunlit windows and a red dog bed. And though Emily's tears flowed as she waved goodbye, her smile was bright with the knowledge that Daisy's tail would wag in joy. A few days later, eager hands at Maple Street arranged for Bruno, the boldest pup, to join a young couple with a playful home and a big backyard, where he would grow up chasing frisbees under blue skies, and Emily found comfort in knowing that every goodbye was a new beginning. Then there was Lily, adopted by a retired teacher, who promised bedtime stories and gentle walks. Max, who bounded into the life of a family with 2 children eager for a furry friend, and finally Oliver, who settled into a quiet home by the lake with his new father, a fisherman who would share long afternoon boat rides with his courageous companion. Each farewell ripped at Emily's heart, but she paced the hospital hallway with purpose, carrying letters from each family, filled with photographs of puppies exploring their new worlds, and she felt Bella's healing spirit grow stronger as her babies thrive. A forever home. Emily's devotion never wavered as she looked at Scout's gentle eyes, and Bella's wounded but trusting gaze, and in a moment of quiet clarity beneath the glow of the evening sky, she decided to adopt Scout first, promising a lifetime of love, and then Bella, vowing that no sunrise would find them apart. Their first morning together at home was filled with tentative steps, as Bella tested her legs in the dew-kissed grass, while Scout bounded ahead, and Emily laughed through tears as she watched Bella chase a fallen leaf for the first time in months, her bandaged paw lifting with renewed joy. In the weeks that followed, gentle hydrotherapy sessions in the backyard pool strengthened Bella's limbs, and Scout's playful energy coaxed giggles from Emily as the puppy learned to splash with delight, each moment a celebration of resilience and family. Bella's brigade, inspired by the strength and love that carried Bella and her puppies through the fire, Emily founded Bella's brigade as a beacon of hope for other animals in need, reaching out to rescue shelters and kind volunteers to create workshops on wildfire safety, first aid for pets, and the importance of commitment to recovery. The first workshop was held in a sunlit community hall, where tables lined with informational flyers welcomed neighbors, compassionate veterinarians gave demonstrations on burn care, and tearful but determined adopters learned how a single act of kindness can change a life. As adoption events popped up in local parks, under brightly colored tents, dozens of families met shy or injured animals, and Bella and Scout made surprise visits, their gentle presence inspiring new bonds of trust. Children crouched to stroke Bella's soft fur, and adults marveled at her steady courage. Support programs soon followed, including a helpline for pet owners in crisis, fundraising galas that shimmered with candlelight and gentle music, and partnerships with schools where students created heartfelt artwork celebrating rescue and renewal. Newsletter subscribers grew by the hundreds, reading heartfelt stories of recovery, volunteer spotlights, and tips on fostering animals, while social media pages named and Bella's Brigade swelled with pictures of wagging tails and grateful hearts. Looking ahead, Emily planned an annual parade of paws, where rescued animals and their families would march through town in a joyous procession of solidarity, and she dreamt of expanding Bella's Brigade into neighboring cities, spreading the message that from ashes and adversity, a community bound by love can ignite a movement. And every evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emily watched Bella and Scout curled together on the porch, their soft breathing a lullaby of survival, and she whispered words of gratitude into the gathering dusk, for their story, one of pain turned to purpose, would shine forever as a testament to what compassion can achieve. Over time, Bella's Brigade transformed from a small local effort into a wide network of compassionate allies, joining hands with animal shelters across the region to provide emergency rescue training classes, volunteer mentorship programs, and scholarship grants for young animal lovers who dreamed of careers in veterinary rescue. Each class taught the basics of fire safety for pets, how to recognize signs of trauma, and the power of gentle handling to restore trust, and attendees left empowered to carry forward Bella's message of hope. Volunteer coordinators like Maria and Jamal organized monthly outreach events at senior centers, where elderly neighbors found comfort in pet therapy visits, from specially trained dogs, and stories of healing echoed in shared laughter and tears, as participants recalled how Bella's journey had inspired them to open their hearts. Meanwhile, Emily worked tirelessly on an interactive website that hosted a blog of success stories, photo galleries of once injured animals thriving in their new homes, and a calendar of upcoming adoption fairs. She responded personally to every message that arrived in her inbox, offering advice, encouragement, and sometimes a virtual hug to strangers who reached out in moments of doubt. In the first anniversary year of Bella's Brigade, a gala under the oak tree, where Bella's own puppies were born, raised funds to build a dedicated rescue center, complete with recovery training wing, and a community garden where visitors and animals could find solace in sunshine and fresh air. And as Bella and Scout paraded beneath strings of lanterns, their bounding silhouettes cast long shadows on the grass, reminding everyone that from the hottest flames can rise the strongest bonds of love and compassion.